Hey everyone, Sigarme here. In this video, I'll walk you through what I consider to be the best Warrior Pikemen lineups from early to late game, with strategies for both free-to-plays and spenders. Pikemen are known for their counter-attack mechanics, which make them incredibly strong even when being swarmed. They're basically the porcupines of Age of Empires Mobile. These lineups are very commonly used and tend to be spammed on the battlefield currently, so let's see how we can make them shine. We'll cover hero combinations, ring pairings, skills, gems to help you optimize your Warrior Pikemen lineup. Let's dive in and start cooking. Our first lineup is going to be a free-to-play one with Richard, Joan of Arc and Darius. Darius is upgradable as free-to-play through the exploration mode, Joan of Arc is a tavern hero and Richard is unlockable through the wheel. Let's start by saying that Darius does not synergize well with the other two heroes, as his skill set doesn't fit the counter-attack mechanics that make Warrior Pikemen so strong. He will be replaced whenever you can by Boudica, so do not invest a lot on him. He's by far the weakest one in the lineup, but for now that's all we have. We talked about counter-attacks, so let's have a look at our commander's skill set. Richard's signature skill is passive, like all counter-attack skills, meaning that it will trigger whenever the requirements are met, even outside of his own turn, which is where it gets interesting. Every time your troop is hit by one normal attack, you get a stack of mark, up to 2 per second. When you reach 20 stacks, you deal damage to your enemy and lose your stacks, starting back at 0. It also passively increases Richard's might by a flat amount every time you lose 1% of your units, making your lineup a berserk one of some sort, where you are more dangerous the less health you have. This skill is improved at Richard's rank 1 and 3, where it will respectively get a damage boost and a quicker charging rate, since you will need less stacks to use it. The third rank is actually quite interesting and is a good threshold to look for to boost your Richard's DPS. Richard's commander skill is linked to your mark stacks from your signature skill. It will deal might damage to up to 3 enemies and deal increased damage depending on the number of stacks you have. On the other hand, Joan of Arc's signature skill is pretty simple, but does the job. It's a simple skill where whenever you get hit by a normal attack, you have a 20% chance to immediately counterattack even outside of your own turn, dealing might damage to your opponent. Her stars are quite generic and will boost her signature skill, but since she's a tavern hero, you'll end up having her at 5 stars at some point, so it's still a nice addition. Other than that, Darius is not really worth mentioning, to be honest. His signature skill just boosts himself and he doesn't provide much to the team. We'll soon forget about him. Regarding customizable skills, we'll keep an epic skill per hero early on as always, and if you get skill tokens, you can unlock these ones. For Richard, we'll keep Counterattack, a skill that will return damage when hit, and we'll unlock Forceful Retaliation, a very good counterattack skill that will also increase Richard's might whenever activated. For Joan of Arc, we'll keep Vigilance, a counterattack skill that inflicts the Rat effect, and we'll take Fearless Retribution, another counterattack skill that will heal your units when activated. Remember that we are playing around the counterattack mechanic on these lineups, so we'll try to emphasize on this throughout this guide. For Darius, I'd say it's not necessary to upgrade him that much, but if you end up keeping him for a long time, you can keep Thunder and unlock Roar of Victory to boost your commander's rage. With this, you should have a decent early Pikemen composition, even if it is not optimized yet. Focus on upgrading your Richard through the wheel, as he will be one of the core heroes until late game. Now let's see what we have for spenders early on. We still have our good old Richard, but we add Leonidas and Barbarossa to our army. These are two heroes that perfectly fit the counterattack lineup. Leonidas is a DPS hero and his signature skill is a great counterattack addition to your lineup. Just like Richard, Leonidas empowers your army when you lose health. Unyielding Soul will increase your damage whenever you fall below 50% HP. His signature skill is boosted by his 5 ranks. Rank 3 is the first good power spike with the trigger chance of the counterattacks increased. Rank 5 is massive and will allow the passive damage boost to be activated when your army is below 75% HP instead of 50%. We'll use Leonidas as our commander here because his commander skill is slightly more interesting than Richard's for now. It deals more damage overall, is faster to charge and does not revolve around your mark stacks, so it's more reliable. We'll come back to it soon. Now let's have a look at Barbarossa, our tank. Barbarossa's signature skill will passively reduce the damage you take and will do it more effectively when you fall below 50% HP. It will also heal your units every 9 seconds. His stars don't provide much until rank 3, where we hit a small tankiness power spike, and rank 5 where his signature skill is strongly improved. Before we talk about customizable skills, let's have a look at Richard's 5th rank. It's pretty straightforward as it simply increases its commander skill damage, but it does so by a big amount, 220%, which is massive considering the fact that it can then be boosted depending on the number of marks you have. Therefore, if you have Richard rank 5, it is now more interesting to use Richard as a commander and Leonidas as a secondary hero. The customizable skills are the same regardless of the commander here, so let's have a look at that. For Richard, we take Forceful Retaliation and Fearless Retribution, 2 counterattack skills to emphasize on our counterattack's proficiency. For Leonidas, we take Fearless Retribution and Whirlwind Sweep to increase our damage. For Barbarossa, we'll take Peaceful Haven to increase our tankiness and Metal to heal our troops whenever we get hit. We use Metal instead of Tenacity here because it is better in swarming situations and it synergizes better with Peaceful Haven, activating it every 6 seconds instead of 9 seconds with Tenacity. A friend of mine named The Professor actually made a very good guide about it on Age of Empires Mobile's Discord server. I'll add the link in the description, go and check it out if you want to dive deeper into explanations. Give him some support, he's a very good Fury crafter. Let's also not forget that having one epic skill saves us resources and Empire coins. Now let's see what this will look like once we unlock Boudica. Boudica is a strong DPS unlocked through the wheel who's honestly better than Leonidas, so we are happy to have her as our primary DPS here. It's worth noting that her commander skill, while it's not bad, is not better than Richard's, even if he isn't 5 stars. A signature skill is a great counterattack one that will also boost the might of your hero with the highest might, which is a decent plus. Her stars are good and improve her signature skill, her 3rd rank being the most interesting here. Her rank 5 passive boost isn't that interesting, so there's no need to go for it really. 3 stars will do the job if you don't want to go for more. Regarding customizable skills, we'll take Kingsblade on Joan of Arc and place her before Boudica, so she has a chance to boost our Celtic DPS before her turn. We'll take Forceful Retaliation on Boudica for more counterattack damage and Whirlwind Sweep to increase her damage over time. Let's have a look at the rings. We'll focus on tankiness with the Ring of Clover, because the longer we survive, the more counterattacks we activate. The Ring of Boar is a very good ring that will increase the passive damage of your heroes whenever your army has less than 60% of their HP, which fits very well with Richard's signature skill. We'll also take the Messenger of Destruction ring, an expensive ring that will passively improve all of your counterattack abilities, which is perfect. These 2 rings will boost your counterattack abilities by a lot, which is why we focused on taking as many of these as we could when choosing our skills earlier. Now let's have a look at our final lineup for spenders this time when Boudica is unlocked. Honestly, and you may have noticed, it's not that different from the free-to-play one, except that Joan of Arc is now Leonidas. They have the same skills and we take Kingsblade for the same reason. It's interesting to note that while Warrior Pikemen are way better for spenders early on due to having access to more heroes, they are actually fairly similar for both spenders and free-to-plays once we reach late game. In both cases you end up with 3 heroes that rely heavily on counterattacks, 2 of which are the same. We've removed Barbarossa here because while he is a somewhat decent tank, Boudica or Leonidas actually do a better job at dealing damage than he does at tanking. Some of my alliance friends made tests in that regard and noted that fights were way shorter with Barbarossa out, resulting in less health lost overall. While Barbarossa allows for more sustain, you have a serious lack of damage and you end up taking too much damage anyway. With this composition right here, you will eliminate your enemies much quicker and avoid unnecessary casualties. Thanks Kirby and Falco for the tests. It is worth noting that if you don't have Leonidas because you didn't want to take the bundles, but have Barbarossa instead thanks to the Battle Pass, you can replace Leonidas by Barbarossa and use the Richard Barbarossa Boudica lineup instead, with Metal and Peaceful Haven on Barbarossa. Regarding rings, we just take the Tranquil Water ring instead of the Ring of Clover to have more reliable tankiness, but it's not mandatory if you don't want to. Small final note for gems here. For DPS heroes such as Leonidas, Richard, Boudica or Joan of Arc, focus on using gems that will increase your passive damage. I also suggest using gems that will increase your unit's health and your hero's might. You can swap units' health gems for troop capacity ones if needed. For Barbarossa, you can use gems that will increase all attributes for additional tankiness and gems that will increase your troop capacity. Alright, that was it for the infamous Warrior Pikemen. I hope you liked the guide and found what you were looking for regarding these heroes. As always, feel free to ask any questions in the comments below, and I'll try to answer you to the best of my ability. You can also join me on Twitch to learn more about the game, especially as the release is getting close. If you liked the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and share it. I'll be posting more guides before the release, so stay tuned if you want to grab all the necessary knowledge about lineups before joining Age of Empires Mobile on October 17th. Bye everyone, I'll see you later.
A hearty base, Joan of Arc for flavor and grace. Toss in Darius, just a tiny dash, but not too much, he burns too fast. Whisk it, mash it, grind it, bowl. Pikemen brew, a sight to behold. Counter strike in every bite, ready to feast and win the fight. Leonidas joins with fire in hand. Barbarossa simmers a tanky stand. But soon we swap. Boudica's hot, she's the spice that hits the spot. Whisk it, mash it, grind it, bowl. Pikemen brew, a sight to behold. Counter strike in every bite, ready to feast and win the fight. Add your rings like a secret spice. Orange clover, both taste nice. Stir them well, let the flavors blend. The messenger brings it to the end. Now Boudica's the main dish served. The Joey Leonidas fully preserved. Remove Barbarossa, let him cool. Boudica's here to rule the duel. Whisk it, mash it, grind it, bowl. Pikemen brew, a sight to behold. Counter strike in every bite, ready to feast and win the fight. Add the gems, the final touch. Unit health and strength just enough. Let it simmer, let it rise. Your pikeman dish will claim the prize. This warrior brew, fierce and true, is battle ready just for you.